What really happened to Tamla Horsford? This is a really detailed case, so I'll be pinning part 2 in the comments. 40-year-old Tamla died in the early morning hours of November 4th, 2018 under extremely mysterious circumstances. So the day before, on November 3rd, Tamla was invited to a birthday/slumber party to celebrate her friend John's birthday. The party was at John's house in Cummings, Georgia, and consisted of 10 women and 2 men. So the men were Tom Smith, a husband of one of the women, and 27-year-old Jose Barrera, John's boyfriend. And at the time, John's aunt also lived in the basement of the house. Tamla arrived to the party around 8 p.m., and once there, everyone started drinking and having fun. Throughout the entire night, photos and videos were taken that showed Tamla happy and smiling. At around 11:30 p.m., guests who weren't staying the night began to leave, and the remaining women and Jose one by one went to bed over the next couple of hours. It was reported that Tamla wanted to stay up a little bit longer. The last person to see Tamla was Bridget Fuller, who was picked up by her husband at 1:47 a.m. She says Tamla was eating and told her she was planning to step outside on the balcony to smoke a cigarette like she had done throughout the entire night and then go to bed. But the next morning at around 8:45 a.m., Jean's aunt saw Tamla laying face down in the backyard in the grass, not moving. She ran to get Jean and Jose, who then called 911 just before 9 a.m. At one point, Jose said, quote, "She's not moving one bit, she's stiff," end quote. And at another time, Jean said, quote, "She was drinking and it looks like, I'm guessing, maybe she fell off the balcony," end quote. Almost immediately, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office ruled Tamla's death as accidental. Authorities also never secured the scene, potential evidence was never tested, and no potential witnesses were ever interviewed. 4 months later, the autopsy results came back that stated Tamla died by multiple blunt force injuries. Tamla showed signs of blunt force trauma to her head, torso, and extremities, including abrasions on her face, 4 types of hemorrhages in the skull and brain, a dislocated right wrist, and cuts all over her body. Her neck was completely broken, and she also had a laceration on the right ventricle of her heart. Her toxicology report tested positive for THC and Xanax, and her blood alcohol content was 0.238, almost 3 times the legal limit to drive. Nobody else at the party had been tested for drugs, and authorities didn't test the contents of the bottle of tequila. On top of that, no sexual assault kit or fingernail clippings were collected, and from what anybody really knows, no autopsy photos were taken, which is against routine. Despite Tamla's major injuries, and the balcony only being roughly 20 feet off the ground, FCSO ruled Tamla's death as accidental, with alcohol as a contributing factor. But that's only the surface level of this case, and it's raised many questions about what could have really happened to Tamla.